Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. In our practice today, we're going to be featuring triangle pose. Triangle pose is great because it's going to work our hamstrings and our hips. Let's get started. We're actually going to start our practice in seated, but in staff pose, which is just extending the legs straight out in front of you here. And go ahead and place your hands on the floor by your hips, just to help you to extend your spine so you're sitting up nice and tall. Go ahead and roll your shoulders back like this. Press down, lifting and lengthening of the spine, and take some deep breaths. We'll inhale here and exhale to completion. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. So we're starting in this pose just to start warming up our legs and hamstrings, since we're going to be featuring triangle pose, which will deepen the stretch in our legs. Nice inhale, lift tall. Exhale, connect. Now, as you're holding here in staff pose, not only are we lifting and lengthening with the inhale, on the exhale, we're going to draw the belly button in towards spine to help engage the abdominal lock. Just a way of connecting to center body, connecting to our core strength and balance. Because part of the pose, even though we're not formally balancing on one foot, we do want to have some balance while we're on 2 feet in our posture. So again, breathing in nice and tall. Lengthen spine, fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. Now you might notice my legs are nice and straight, but if you need to put a slight bend in your knees, that's fine. And to keep the legs active, flex your feet. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Very nice. One more. And soften, release. And just to take the stretch out of the legs, let's just come to cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. Here now we can bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and you can just hold on to your shins, ankles, or toes. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. Nice and tall, lift and lengthen through the spine. And exhale, just a slight hinge forward. I'm moving towards you. Let me turn sideways so you can see how far I'm actually folding, because I'm not going down too far. I just want to make sure I keep that extended spine. So lift and hinge just enough where I start to feel a light stretch in the inner legs. This will also help with our hamstring stretch once we get into our triangle pose. Once we get all warmed up down here on the floor, we'll warm up the spine and start to move through a sun salute. And that will then take us right into our featured position. Let's take 3 more breaths here. This modified bound angle pose or cobbler's pose. Good. And coming all the way back up. Just maneuver your body, just make your way to hands and knees. Let's warm up the spine. Cat-cow. Inhale, lift head and heart, arching the back. There we go. Oh, that feels good. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, feel the pelvis tip back. Back arches, the belly drops, heart opens, chin lifts. Exhale, tuck pelvis under, draw belly button up towards spine, chin to chest in the rounded back. 3 more like this. This is wonderful for the spine, and in particular the hips. Our triangle pose, yes, does feature straight legs as we get into our hamstring stretch, but we kind of tip over laterally, so we want to have mobile hips as well. But the posture itself will help provide mobile hips. All right, let's pause right here. Move right into downward facing dog. If your hands were directly underneath your shoulders, just step your hands forward a little bit, out from underneath your shoulders, spreading out your fingers pretty wide so you feel that stretch between each finger. And then just lean or press into your palms so they open flat. Strong, straight arms, well secured here. Tuck your toes. Let's do one more cat-cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Hold cat pose. Lift your knees off the ground. Send your hips into the air while your head and chest sink between the arms. Keep a good bend in your knees. That will allow your hips to continue to lift up, maintaining a nice straight spine. I'm just adjusting my feet a little bit and my hands so I can fully be in the posture. Let's move right into a Warrior 1, Warrior 2 series. Inhale, pick up your right foot and extend your right leg up and away. Exhale, right foot steps up to the top of the mat. You can just land behind the right hand here. Turn your left heel to the floor. You do want to shift your weight back so you're balanced on 2 feet. So it's easy for you now to maybe rise to fingertips, help you to extend the spine, and then free the hands, reach forward, and you should be rising with a relatively straight back, hinging from the hips, rising up as if you're opening the lid of a box. Once you're at the top here, reach high, lunge low. Okay, we're going to relax the arms here for just a moment so we can pay attention to the legs. Lunging, Warrior 1, we're going to be doing Warrior 2. That's going to get us ready for our triangle pose. But here we're feeling some good strength in this front leg, nice alignment of knee and toes pointing forward, good distance between the feet, and this back leg is slightly turned outward. Right here, you're going to feel a stretch in the hip flexor. Arms back up. Inhale here. Exhale, turn to your left as you bring your arms down to parallel. Now you might need to adjust your feet again. This back leg for me is going to continue creating that outer spiral or outer rotation here. Really getting a good opening through this leg. Being sure your right knee and toes are still pointing forward. You may just see me wiggle that foot forward so I have a deeper lunge, more distance between the feet. Yes, good strength in the legs here. Let's hold. And then a side angle pose. Let's add that. Reaching forward, angled upper body. Rotate the arms here. Reach down with the right hand. Left hand's reaching up. Now this is almost triangle pose. The only thing that's different is triangle pose will have a straight front leg. Warrior 2 or side angle has a bent front leg here. Now you can see I'm not touching the ground. You don't have to touch the ground here. I'm just bracing the arm against the inner right leg, keeping it open, keeping it aligned, while the left hand reaches into the air. Let's take a breath in, and exhale. We'll carefully turn, fold, bring your hands down to the ground. Slide the right foot back into plank pose. Pause here for a moment. And then just take a shortcut to down dog. Just bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, chest sinks. Very good. I'm just going to quickly spin around to do the other side and adjust my mat here. So other side, left leg. Inhale, extend your left leg up and away. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Behind the left hand is good. Turn that right heel. Press the whole foot into the floor, shifting the weight back, balanced on 2 feet. Rise to fingertips. Initially extend the spine, light hands reach forward, hinge from hips, opening the lid of the box, rising here. Here's our Warrior 1. Reach high, lunge low, pause for a moment with arms extended, and then just for a moment we'll bring the arms down just to not fatigue the arms while we check in with the legs. Left knee, toes pointing forward, nice strong thigh. Another thing to be aware of here, we're going to keep this knee stacked over the ankle bone, not jetting past, right there. We don't want the pressure on that front knee. Back leg, nice open here, and the hip flexor. Arms re-extend, breathe in, exhale, turn and open to your right. Arms come down to parallel. I'm going to keep opening up that leg, spinning the toes out a little bit. Nice and tall. Outstretched arms. I'm going to wiggle this left foot forward just a little bit so I can lunge a little bit deeper, getting a little bit more into the legs. Right into our side angle. Let's reach forward. Rotate the arms here. Reach down. Reach up. Opening. Now I'm just going to quickly show you, if you did want to go a little lower, I'm going to break pose here. And let's say you want to go down lower, but you really can't quite reach the floor. This is where your blocks might come in handy. I happen to have 3 blocks here. So I'm just going to place it right here. Side angle, and I can just prop my fingers right there on the blocks just to go a little bit lower and reaching this right hand into the air. So not needing to touch the ground here and just using some stacked blocks. All right, breathe in. Exhale, we'll turn. Fold. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. Slide left foot back, plank pose. And another shortcut to down dog. Right there. Let's take a quick breather. Bring the knees to the floor. Sit back into hero pose. Now we're going to go through that series again. Warrior 1, Warrior 2, but we're going to take Warrior 2 and transition to our triangle pose. Now I am going to have my blocks handy because they can certainly help with this posture. So I'm going to keep them near the top left side of my mat. All right, back to downward facing dog. Here we go. Inhale, extend right leg up. Don't even worry how high the leg goes. Just make sure it's nicely extended. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Same setup, left heel to the floor, shifting the weight back, planted, balance between 2 feet. Long spine, hinge from hips, opening the lid of the box. Warrior 1. Immediately open to Warrior 2. Let's arrive in Warrior 2. I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider. Right here. For our Warrior 2 pose, just to really get into the legs. Alrighty, maybe 3 to 5 breaths. Good, let's get ready for triangle pose. I'm just going to relax the arms for a moment, and we're going to straighten this leg. Now I'm going to draw this knee in basically, but also feel like there's an energy rising up, right up through the torso. So now my legs are straight. Now for triangle pose, perfectly fine to keep this wide stance, but perfectly fine also to take a shorter stance. I'll do that on the other side because I'm going to use the blocks on this side. So actually I need to get my blocks because they're a little too far away, just bringing them in right here. So outstretched arms, straight legs, tall torso, reaching out over that right leg. As you're reaching outward, you might even feel like your left hip is moving in the opposite direction. This is that hip work I was talking about. So the pelvis kind of tips. You're going to really feel this probably in the upper thigh as well as the upper hamstring area. Then we rotate the arms. Now I've got my 3 blocks here, but I'm going to bring one up even higher. So it's here. This feels just right for me. So you can always modify these poses. You don't have to touch the ground in some of these postures. Make it a partial pose, but it doesn't mean you're doing less work. This feels really nice. I can feel a nice stretch through the left side body, right at that hip, right at the belt line there. Certainly feeling this nice hamstring stretch. A safe way to get out of this pose is to bend the right knee, give you a nice lunge and leverage to come back up to Warrior 2. I'm going to do a big windmill, bringing this left hand up and around and down to the floor. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way here. Down to the floor, sliding right foot back, plank pose. And taking a shortcut to downward facing dog. If you need to, you can pause, coming down to your knees. I'm doing so I can spin around. Coming back up to a down dog, other side. Inhale, extend left leg up. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Warrior 1, set up, right heel to the earth, shifting the weight back, find that balance. Long spine, hinge from hips, opening the box. Exhale, immediately opening to Warrior 2. I am going to spin that right foot out. Nice opening here, but I'm not going to take the feet any wider than this. Holding for a good 3 to 5 breaths. Just get into the strength of the legs, feet, hips, and even core. And some endurance work with keeping the arms parallel. All right, let's get set up for triangle. We're going to straighten the left leg. Now, you can have a wide stance, but you can even shorten the stance here in triangle. I'm just going to bring in that foot in a little bit, okay? So that won't change the integrity of the pose. You're going to reach out over the straight left leg, right hip feels like it's moving in the opposite direction, and then rotate the arms. Staying up a little higher, mainly because there's shorter distance between the feet, but you're still in the pose. Just want to be in a place where you do feel that nice hamstring stretch. We're tipping over laterally or sideways, getting into the hips. So a nice modified triangle pose. Couple more breaths. And to safely come out of the pose, let's bend the left knee. Because I have a shorter stance, being sure you're not going to take that knee too far past the ankle bone. There's our warrior two. And our big windmill or cartwheel all the way around and down to the floor in front. Slide left foot back to meet the other plank pose. Shortcut to down dog. Soft knees, hips to sky, head and chest sink. And let's come down to the ground. We'll take a seat here. We're going to end our practice here. I'm going to bring in my bolster to sit on. Good. Just sit up nice and tall. Lengthen spine, relax shoulders. A couple of deep breaths. Wonderful. Just settling in. Just taking this nice, short, soft flow practice, getting to our legs and hips. One last movement together. Inhale, extend your arms out and up. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take one more full and complete breath here. And as we come to the close of our practice, we bow saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.